Hey guys, it's Jodie here and welcome back to my channel on YouTube. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for following my content every week. If it weren't for you guys, then I wouldn't have a channel in the first place. So this week, I'm just going to be doing a little bit of a kind of like catch-up update on my life because as you guys would have realized, if you're a regular on here, that I haven't uploaded in 2 weeks. I'm not dead, obviously. I'm not sick. I got a new job. Really exciting news. I wanted to give you guys the news firsthand. Obviously, being so active on my Instagram, if you follow me over on there, you would know that I got a promotion in my existing company. I wanted to jump on here and give you guys a little bit of an update. Basically, I'll give you a bit of a background on my job and what I do for a living without going into too much detail. I work for a very well-known surf company. I work in the retail environment aspect of it. Started out about 2 years ago. I applied for a role in the ladies fashion side of it as a permanent part-timer. It was kind of hard to get a full-time job. There's a lot of casuals, a lot of permanent part-timers, but no real full-timers unless you were management. However, within the 6-month period, there became a role in the men's fashion side of the company. A full-time role came up. That person that was in that role got promoted to a management position at another store. Needed a full-timer. Applied straight away, not just to cover my bills, but by that stage I'd already decided I really love the brand that I'm working with. I enjoy the clothes that I was wearing to work every day. I enjoy everything that the brand stands for. Multi-brand company. We have like big brands and then we have like sub-brands that work under us. So there's a lot of places to go. Like I needed to grow further. I could choose, you know, where I wanted to go within that company. So I decided to go for that interview and I ended up getting it. So I ended up working in the men's fashion aspect of the company. So altogether now, I've probably worked for this company for just over 2 years, which isn't a lot to me because the last 2 companies that I worked for my first job, which was 5 years. And I worked for my second job, which was for about 4.5 years. So 2 years isn't really that long to me, but I know like I've seen other people move in the company and everyone's constantly growing and going to different brands and moving up. However, I've worked in this particular store for a while now. I was kind of feeling like I wanted to go somewhere else with it just because in the location that our stores are positioned, we're very limited to just one type of product. Whereas some of the other stores where they're positioned on the Gold Coast, they have a variation of products within the one store. So for me, I was constantly dealing with men's clothes, men's accessories, men's footwear. Yeah, it was just kind of, I felt very limited in the job role that I was full-time. Basically, when I got the job at the men's store, I was offered an in-house course covered by the company, basically to learn, study, and grow within the company so that if there were to ever come up with like a 2IC position or a management role in another store, I would be prepared for it. It prepares you for future roles that were coming up. Within that time, I was encouraged to apply for several roles. I applied for a flagship store role, which was a very popular store on the Gold Coast. I didn't get it. It was the choice of either me and one other girl that was going for the role, that they chose the other girl over me. So I felt kind of privileged in that sort of fact that out of all these people that they interviewed, they chose out of me and one other person. Like that made me feel really good and I gave myself a pat on the back for it because I worked really hard for that interview and I prepared myself. I wrote out notes and I got called back for a second interview, which, you know, obviously, unfortunately, I didn't get it. But I was very, very happy with the fact that, you know, they considered me and they gave me a second call back. The second role I went for was in another store, but unfortunately they ended up going with someone a little bit more highly experienced. I don't have that prior experience. I've always just been like a retail assistant or a permanent part-timer. I've never been a manager. So just unfortunately in those instances, they've always had someone that's applied that's a little bit more experienced than me. The third role that I've applied for, I originally didn't want because I didn't think it was that exciting. Also, I was a bit worried because the previous manager that was there at the time wasn't kind of going to be there all the time. She was running another store. So I was like, ooh, a bit like doubting myself and worried that I didn't have the confidence to like solely run the store without like someone else sort of guiding me all the time. So I guess maybe I was a bit codependent in that way. I didn't want to admit that when I was offered to apply for the position. I didn't go for it the first time and then the role came up again. I decided to apply for it this time. I feel much more confident. I've had a couple more months on me to have experience with my team members in my store. I felt like I could confidently run the days without another person, you know, assisting me in that sort of matter. Basically, up until this point, I just didn't feel like I had the confidence to run a store solely by myself, which sounds really silly when I think about it, because every weekend when my previous managers were off, like on their rostered days off, I was running the store by myself anyway. So I don't know why. I just, you know, when you have like self-doubt and you just think, I don't know if I could do that, or like, what if I needed you, or what if I need that extra person to, like, you know, get a second opinion on something or get that confidence boost. For some reason, I just really wasn't giving myself the benefit of the doubt, which is really silly when I think about it. So yeah, I ended up going for this role again. And while I was applying for that role, another position came up in a store not too far from my store. I did a 2IC there too. So I decided to apply for both roles. Tried to be as confident as possible in the interview. I told her about all my prior experience. She did ask me during the interview how I would handle a certain situation or what is my management style. I think every manager has got these traits, but they learn how to style shift, pull back, and know how to talk to each team member like in a different way, because everyone has different personalities. They react differently in different conversations. So I basically just went through those scenarios with her in my interview. I honestly didn't think I was even gonna get a role, even though there was 2 positions up for grabs, because I could feel my self-doubt coming up through the back of my throat while I was talking to her, and I was like, ah! And yeah, basically she came back into the store a couple of days later after the weekend had passed over, and she asked me if I wanted to be her 2IC in the store behind us. So yeah, here I am. I'm now a manager at my store, which is really exciting. I have a whole new team and it's kind of exciting. Like, this is a totally different store. It's a bit of everything, which is really exciting. I love dealing with different brands and learning new product knowledge. That's my explanation, guys, as to why I have been active on here. I really just wanted to put all my focus into my new role, learn how to organize myself better at home so that I can fit this into my weekly schedule, because as it stands, I'm now in a more demanding role where I have more responsibilities. I want to make sure that I'm focusing on that, but also putting my time into YouTube and creating content. I just don't want to be jamming too much into my day. From now on, I'll be uploading on Monday nights. That is my exciting news. Thank you so much for catching up with me on my new job, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye!